This is IGN. After 2 weekends, Avatar: Fire and Ash hit $760 million at the global box office. Welcome to your IGN Daily Update. But first, Malcolm in the Middle: Life's Still Unfair has a debut trailer and an April 10th, 2026 release date on Hulu. The trailer for the revival shows how Malcolm, played by Frankie Muniz, is dragged back into his family's orbit after shielding himself from them for over a decade. We see Hal, played by Bryan Cranston, and Lois, played by Jane Kaczmarek, demand his presence at their 40th anniversary party. But poor Malcolm, it seems, would rather be left alone. "My life is fantastic now," Malcolm says in the trailer. "All I had to do is stay away from my family." Hilarity ensues. Indeed, the entire original cast returns with the exception of little brother Dewey. Eric Pear Sullivan, who originally played the character, won't return for the show, with Caleb Ellsworth Clark taking over the role for the revival. Cranston recently revealed the news in a conversation on Dana Carvey and David Spade's Fly on the Wall podcast. "I talked to Eric and I said, 'Hey, we got the show. It's going to come back,'" he explained. He goes, "Oh, that's fantastic." And I go, "Yeah, so we're looking forward to having you back." He goes, "Oh, no, I don't want to do it, but it's fantastic." The former actor, who is now 33 years old, has a pretty good reason for sitting this one out. He's actually going to Harvard, Cranston said during the podcast. He's really smart, and he's getting his master's at Harvard right now. He said, "Oh God, no, I haven't acted since I was 9 or something, so I'm not into it." Following the show's original run from 2004 to 2006, Sullivan stepped back from acting just 4 years later at age 19 to pursue other interests. Malcolm in the Middle: Life's Still Unfair is a special 4-part miniseries set for Hulu and via Disney+. Avatar: Fire and Ash is now up to $760.4 million at the global box office, as the Disney sci-fi sequel heads towards $1 billion from theaters. $217.7 million has now been made domestically, but Avatar: Fire and Ash is doing particularly well internationally, where it has an impressive $542.7 million haul after an impressive 25% overall drop. Avatar 1 and 2 were the world's #1 film for a number of weeks following launch, and each ended up earning over $2 billion. The hope for Disney is that Avatar 3 shows similar staying power in theaters, and it's drip-feeding Avengers Doomsday teaser trailers alongside the movie to encourage repeat viewings from superfans. James Cameron's 3 Avatar films have now earned over $6 billion to date globally, including Fire and Ash. The lingering question for Cameron is whether Avatar 3 does enough business to convince Disney to greenlight Avatar 4 and 5. Avatar: Fire and Ash launched to a huge $345 million at the global box office, which was enough to secure the second largest opening weekend of 2025 so far. But it was down significantly on its predecessor, Avatar: The Way of Water's opening weekend haul. The special effects-heavy Avatar films cost a huge amount of money to produce, but they have historically made billions of dollars at the box office. Avatar remains the highest-grossing movie of all time, not adjusted for inflation, and has earned a staggering $2.9 billion across several theatrical runs. Avatar: The Way of Water earned $2.3 billion meanwhile, cementing it as the third highest-grossing film of all time, just ahead of Cameron's own Titanic. Avatar 4 currently has a December 21st, 2029 release date, with Avatar 5 due out December 19th, 2031. Cameron, now 71, would be close to 80 years old by the time it all wraps up. But Cameron has sounded words of caution recently. Speaking on the Town with Matthew Baloney podcast, Cameron admitted he was feeling nervous about Avatar: Fire and Ash's box office performance and was mindful of the forces working against theatrical releases in 2025. There's the potential for sequelitis, Cameron noted. People tend to dismiss sequels unless it's the third Lord of the Rings film and you want to see what happens to everybody, which in my mind this is. This is the culmination of a story arc, but that may not be how the public sees it. And there's the 1-2 punch of streaming and COVID, which means fewer people are going to the movies, 75% of the number in 2019, Cameron suggested. When pressed on how much Avatar: Fire and Ash cost to make, Cameron wouldn't be drawn into divulging a figure, only suggesting it was a lot of money, so the movie will have to make a lot of money to turn a profit. Meanwhile, Jack Black and Paul Rudd's comedy Anaconda opened to $43.7 million globally. Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet, has a global tally of $30 million after a limited release. After 5 weekends, Disney's Zootopia 2 is now on $1.42 billion worldwide, with over $1 billion of that coming internationally. Zootopia 2 is the highest-grossing Hollywood release of the year. Could Avatar: Fire and Ash eventually beat it? Zootopia 2 and Lilo & Stitch are the only 2 Hollywood movies of 2025 to cross $1 billion so far. And finally, Wicked for Good opened in China this weekend and has now crossed $500 million globally. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which last week became available to buy from video-on-demand platforms, has now crossed $100 million internationally, with a global haul to date of $221 million. That's your IGN Daily Update. My name is Tony Jackson, and if you want more news on your favorite games and entertainment topics, make sure to visit us at IGN.com. You can also download our free app on your phone or console and subscribe to our weekly podcasts through the podcast service of your choice.
Spoken Layer.